Hello, everybody. This is Laurie Gerber, head coach of Handel Group Life Coaching. I am here with Kim Seltzer today. She is our expert to debunk your dumbass theories about dating. Each week, we come to this wonderful community, or maybe not every week, but regularly we come to this community to debunk our dumbass theories, to question our minds, to question our thoughts. The most powerful thing I have experienced in the Handel method is somebody saying, don't think this, think that instead. And if I could not argue and I liked what they thought better than what I was thinking, I took on what they thought as my own, and my life was better for it. Some examples. No, not everybody has to stop having sex after they have children. No, healthy food doesn't always taste disgusting. No, it's not that hard to run a business. Marriages don't go stale by nature. Dating isn't hard. These are the types of things that were revelations to me. And so I continue the conversation with all of you. I keep bringing in experts to help you, with scientific evidence, with observations, with loads of experience from real people in the field to prove to you that your negative thoughts and theories are not actually true. And that is such good news. So who is Kim Seltzer? She is a dating coach. She is a makeover expert. She really specializes in helping people have that edge in dating. And so she works with tons of people, mostly women, on really how to date effectively. So I asked her what the top negative theories were that she hears swimming around. And we have 3 really good ones for you. I'm not going to tell you all of them right off the bat. But Kim, why don't you just say hello to everybody, tell folks why you're here.
Yeah, I was so excited to do this again. And so hopefully this will be great. Actually, I work with just as many men as I do women.
Oh,
yeah. So if any men are listening, don't go away. So, I always say I always get my passion out of my own story. I mean, I used to, before this, be a therapist in a traditional sense. And so I, help people in a lot of different ways. But then I had my own journey. Without going into the whole long saga, I think it's important because it is going to be a lot of what I'm teaching today, because I went through it. Like, I just want to say, I'm with you guys. Like, I had done the married thing. I did the divorce thing. And now I'm here to kind of teach you all what I have learned along the way. And, I used to practice as a therapist, and I had the whole family, the picket fence, the kids, the dog. We pick up, we move to La La Land, right? And we do what all the other people here did. And I'm joking, we get a divorce, but obviously there were like issues going on in this little
majority. You are.
Yeah. So, but, in all seriousness, that is when the record stopped. The life that I knew at that point was completely shattered. And I'm looking in the mirror and I'm hating what I saw. Like, I saw this like really sad, frumpy woman with oversized black clothes. I still had the nursing bras on. Mind you, I was not pregnant any longer. Right? Like, I know you can really.
They're so comfortable.
It was so comfortable. And to your point, actually, I was so comfortable being miserable. And what I mean by that is that I had fallen into this kind of rabbit hole, this dark period of my life, and I couldn't get out of my own way. And here I was, this single mom, trying to learn how to date again, and I was a fish out of water. I looked at men like they were aliens. I was like, oh my God, like it was scary. And so I'll never forget this defining moment that happened to me. And it's what I'm going to actually talk about today, and how to get out of your own way. And if you were to ask me back as a therapist, I never would have said this, but this is what changed my whole philosophy in helping people. So I'm looking in the mirror, hate what I see. What does a girl do when nothing fits? Go shopping. So I go shopping. I'm pulling all the black clothes again, of course, because it's so comfortable. I was comfortable hiding too. And so this personal shopper, she's watching me. She comes up to me. She holds up this red dress and she said, I was wondering, ma'am, if you wanted to try on this. And I looked at her, I'm like, that is so sweet, but that is so not my size. And that's really not my color. And she said, honey, that is your size. That is your color. Try it on. And it was like, bam, like it was that hit over the head that I needed, to be honest. And again, I just so you know, I had a great support system. I had gone through counseling. I knew theoretically what I needed to do. but I really needed to feel something different and see something different. So I slip on the dress and I look in the mirror and I couldn't believe what I saw. Like, that woman was right. I just hadn't seen myself in so long. I had to see it to believe it. So I bought that costume that day and I walked out into the world. I call it a costume because I didn't believe it yet. And I marinated in it, and bam, like that's when my life started changing. My confidence started growing. Yeah. And it was this like symbiotic relationship I realized between the outer and the inner that was so crucial for me to like move on. So that is what I want to kind of talk about today, and how I help people, you know, look and feel their best so they attract what they want, and how they can get out of their own way when it comes to dating and all the fears that, you know, go with it, and teaching people like practical things.
Well, it's interesting because where I come from is similar in terms of I want to question how you're thinking before you take the action. Or I want you to at least know that you're not thinking straight. So I want to debunk how you think. But that falls right into what are you going to do about it, right? I came to coaching thinking healthy food doesn't taste good, which fell right into my coach saying, go eat a carrot with guacamole and tell me that doesn't taste good. Which is the same thing as your coach, you know, holding up that dress and you saying, oh, you don't know me. And she said, well, no, I do know you. I know you've been listening to the BS in your mind. And then you trust this soul that's looking at you lovingly and seems to see you and seems to believe something different for you. And then you do something different, right? You eat the healthy food and lo and behold, it tastes good. You put on the red dress and lo and behold, it looks good. And then all of a sudden that virtuous cycle of belief takes off. And then you can do the next brave thing and the next brave thing. So I think we're on the same page. So
I love it. Yeah. And just before we dive into it, because that is something now that has kind of changed my philosophy, is that it's all about like, you know, show me, don't tell me, like helping people put them into action. So I do these wing girl sessions where I go out in the field and I help people flirt and interact, and teaching them kind of those social skills to interact. I mean, we've become such a virtual world that muscle's gotten atrophied. And so I knew that was something I needed at the time. And so, you know, as I've collected the tools, this is exactly what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, cool. All right. So the first main thing that people gripe about is, you know, it's hard. Dating is hard. I hear that in every city, in every town, of every age person.
Oh, yeah.
Every size, every height. Everyone's saying, it's Laurie, you don't understand. It's so hard. You know, I don't know why I'm not getting what I think I should be getting. Am I supposed to change? I don't want to change. I shouldn't have to change. I should be loved for who I am. Why do I have to, you know, give in to this society that cares about how I look? It's not fair. Can you please talk back to that voice in my head that's making me just want to sit on the couch and eat?
Yeah. Well, and I have to say, I was with you way back when, you know, when I was that frumpy girl. So I totally get that, you know, and here's what I'll say. And just to, because I get so many people who come to me with that very, you know, excuse, I'll call it, is that, you know, I don't want to change for no man. If man doesn't like me, then, you know, forget them, you know, that kind of thing. And here's what I want to really talk about, is that it's not about changing who you are. It's about marketing yourself in a way so that a person gets to know who you are. Like if we just take the emotion out of it, right? And I always like compare it to business, okay? If we have two websites, right? And both websites have the same content, and one is kind of antiquated, it's hard to navigate, it looks old and lame. The other one looks professionally done, and the colors are slick, and the pictures are really crisp and clear and inviting. Same content. What are you going to choose? The insides are the same, but it's marketing a different thing. Most people are going to choose the newer, slicker one. Why? Because we trust it more. We think that
effort is made.
Right. And so people are the same way. And so, and here's the thing that's really exciting about it is that, you know, if you knew 55% of your dating success could be increased just based on changing the clothes. That's based on research, not me talking. Why wouldn't you do it? I mean, so many of these other things, right? It takes time to learn, and the inside work and all that stuff. This is instant. And I see this all the time. that it only takes 30 seconds to make a first impression. That's all you got. With Bumble and Tinder, it takes quicker than that, right? So, if you want to like put your best self forward, not only that, it's not just about that. It's about how you feel in those clothes. I mean, Laurie, you and I were having a conversation just before we started. You're like, I like my outfit today. When you feel good in your clothes, you have also a different energy. So again, it's input, output. What you put out is what you get back. And that is what
I really think we proved that, because everybody should just know we already tried to record this Facebook Live about 2 weeks ago. And I wasn't really present to the fact, like I knew you were a dating coach, but I wasn't quite like putting it all together that you were all like, you really have expertise in the look. And when I got on with you, I was like, what is my outfit? What am I doing? I just magically, energetically shut down the recording system.
I think that's what happened, right?
But really, it's the point, right? Is that we shut it down. We think we're just online, and we think we're doing the work, and we think we're working hard at dating, but we're shutting it down with our mind and our doubts and our fears and our lack of self-confidence, which is one of the biggest excuses people give.
Yes. And and 93% of communication is nonverbal too, if you think about it. So it's not even what you say when you show up on a date. It's how you present and the feeling people get. And two things are happening in the brain when they're making first impression. One is the attire that you're wearing. The second is the attitude that you have. And let me tell you, when I'm doing these wing girl sessions, I can't tell you how many times I see the resting bitch face on. Sorry for using that word, but it's true. The RBF is true. And it's not that we're really intending to be that. I think we just all have gotten busy and serious, and we're looking down, and we don't realize how it shuts things down in terms of approachability. And here's the thing. Both sexes have responsibility and approachability. Both men and women, because I get a lot of women who say, well, men don't approach anymore. And then the men are telling me women don't want to be approached anymore. So we're at a stalemate. Like, it's like we have men and women in a room and no one's meeting each other because of what's happening. Right. So that's why I like to kind of break that all apart and really help people interact and show up as the best version of you. And here's another thing about the clothes that you wear. When no matter if I did a makeover on a guy or a girl, when people walk out of the dressing room, they exude a sexier confidence too. And that is part of attraction. I'm sorry, it was different for me walking around in my muumuus and Birkenstocks. I wasn't getting any looks, and I didn't feel.
Just the difference between a nursing bra and a sexy bra. Nobody can even see that, and that's a huge difference.
It is. I actually tell women all the time to wear sexy lingerie, even on a first date, and it doesn't matter. And a guy shouldn't see it on the first date, but it's how you feel with it. Right. And that sexy confidence, that little twinkle in your eye, is going to shine.
More powerful than anything you say or don't say. Let me also just underline how appreciative I am that you bring statistics to this so that people can really be responsible. That's why I bring experts, because I want people to understand first impressions, what people are thinking, what the science says, so that we're working inside of actual reality instead of our myths. Okay. Second thing we hear for people is, I'm too shy. Like, it's not, not everyone is blaming the other sex. Some blaming themselves. There's something wrong with me, Kim. I promise it's true. I'm not okay. I can't do it. What do you say to that?
It's actually one of my specialties. In fact, I help a lot of quote unquote shy people, or people who've labeled themselves shy, really get out of their shell. And, and this is where I think being a therapist is so helpful. When I first work with people, I love to sit down and get a whole history, and I know you do that too, Laurie. Like I do feel like our past is connected to the future, and the choices we make and the patterns that get created. And sometimes we get these labels that get placed on us for whatever reason. I mean, I know, and I've traced back a lot of people that I work with grew up in households that were very loud, or it ran high in emotion. So that person shut their voice down because they needed to keep the peace. So fast forward, they label themselves shy because they have learned to shut down their voice. But for whatever reason, I mean, there's definitely an organic piece too. I know there's a lot of studies on it. However, I believe that you can get over shyness in different ways. And I will tell you, there's 3 things that you can do right away. You know, the first thing is taking a look at how you're defining shyness. Right? Because not everybody's shy in all situations.
Right.
So like I'll have people come to me and say, you know, I'm just really shy when it comes to the opposite sex. And especially when it's somebody I'm interested in. I can talk to the guys who I'm not interested in until the cows come home. But then suddenly I like freeze up when there's more at stake, when there's fear of rejection. Right. And so that's the first thing that I noticed is that, you know, really take a look at when you're getting shy, like do a self-assessment of yourself and define that. The second thing is taking a look at an environment where you feel the most confident in, because, you know, I know a lot of people who get shyer in really large groups, but then they feel a little bit better when it's a more quaint situation. And so, you know, knowing how introversion works too, a lot of introverts find that socialization expends a lot of energy, right? But here's what I found about that. And I really help people with this, is that they're spending so much time in their heads thinking about what to say rather than being present and teaching them some tools and how they can have conversation that's more heartfelt and personal rather than lines that are going on in their head. Right. That's why it's so exhausting for them. So the minute they find these
tools, way too hard on the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly. And so anytime you're spending too much energy on that, no wonder socialization is exhausting, right? And so once I have this whole social engagement formula that I teach people when we're out and about, that it's just a game changer. And so it doesn't expend so much energy. But anyway, take one of those environments where you're feeling a little more confident and practice that. Right. And Laurie, I know you do this all the time. Yeah. Like the one reason why you're not feeling confident in an area is because you lack experience. And I define confidence actually as experience. So go get yourself some exposure. But you have to do it over and over and over again. And suddenly it will become you. Like that red dress wasn't very scary for me to be seen. Right. But I wore it over and over and over again. And then it just became me, right?
Exactly. I find that to be true. I used to be scared, you know, to do any kind of public speaking. All I had to do was 100 times of practicing, and now I'm not scared of it anymore.
Oh my God. Okay, that amazes me that you were fearful of public speaking. Yeah. Anyone who's seen Laurie speak, she like friggin' rocks. So you're like a true testament how you can get more
practice. Well, the funny thing is, when I first saw my boss and the founder of Handel Group, one of the founders, Lauren Handel-Zander, I wanted to do a presentation. I thought I could never do that. I would like to, but that's just not me. You don't know me, right? That's not me, right? That was my theory. And lo and behold, it turns out all I had to do was practice. That was actually all I had to do. And that's what we teach people, physical integrity. Just do it. And then judge later instead of judging in order to stay on the couch and not do it. Yeah.
Can I just share a quick story on that? Because I think it really highlights what we're talking about. And I know we have one more myth to debunk. But, you know, there was this woman that flew in. She did an intensive with me. And obviously not everyone can do that. But it was just a profound example of what happened with her shyness. She had not been dating for 25 years. And she had been divorced all that time. She was just working, doing the daily grind. She hires me, comes out here. I sit down, I talk to her, get her history, and I realize how much she was giving her power away. And she kept saying she was sorry. Like, and I'm like, what are you sorry about? You know, like just little things like that I was noticing. And the first thing I did with her was go shopping, because I knew in order for her to get out of her shyness and shell, she had to put on that costume where she felt differently. And she walks into the store, and before we move further, her tears started drooping down her face. I said, what's going on? She said, there's something I have to tell you. I said, what's going on? She said, I haven't looked in a mirror. I haven't looked in the mirror in years. I cover all my mirrors in my home. Oh. And she's like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I said, I thank you for sharing that. And I totally get where you're coming from. And I held her hand. I said, but you can do this. And now had I been a therapist sitting in an office, I don't think, I mean, I could have done some cognitive therapy around that, but there was no way. She had to see something different. So we go into the store. I said, I want you to do 2 things for me. just try on this leather jacket and put on these boots and just twirl around, look in the mirror. Just give me 5 seconds. That's all I want.
Right.
So she puts it on. She twirls around. Tears are going down her face again, but this time it was tears of joy. And she said, Kim, I've never seen myself so beautiful in my entire life. And from there, I created a monster. So now then we're going shopping. So she was getting dressed with the dressing room door open. I mean, this is like a woman who had so much body shame and shyness and all. And I mean, we went out there and we flirted up a storm. And I kid you not, she goes back home, goes on Match.com, and she starts dating up a storm. And she now has a serious boyfriend today. But it was like that moment she had to get like unraveled, right?
I mean, I remember just the moment that my coach took me to the store to shop for healthy food, made me get on the scale. It's reality. Get out of your head.
Yes.
To reality with the other humans.
You humans, right? And we are all humans, by the way.
Turns out that also scientific studies have shown. Okay. So last one, and I really think this one's the saddest one. So sad, like it breaks my heart whenever I hear it because it just tells me the state of disrepair humanity is in. But I hear this all the time. There are no good ones out there. Is that there are no good ones out there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, breaks my heart. Like really, you just like judged and assessed and killed billions of humans. Like no one's got a chance. They're all bad. Okay, so
I hear that all the time.
Please tell me they're exaggerating for effect.
Okay, well, here's the thing, that we create our own reality. So I don't believe that actually these people are not telling the truth when they say that. I believe that what they see in their little goggles and glasses is their own reality, that there isn't anybody out there. And to be honest, when I was back in that frumpy stage, I didn't see anybody either. It's because I didn't want to see anybody, right? I was hiding, but I also had a lot of limiting beliefs around it. And I think that's also another thing. I co-hosted the show called The Great Love Debate. And it's a live show where we kind of debunk myths and talk about dating and all that. And, it's really fun, but it's all over the country. And I kid you not, every single state that I went in, everyone had that objection of, our city sucks. There's no good people.
Sam, what should we do about the fact that people suck?
Yeah, exactly. So here's the thing. First of all, they're everywhere. They're absolutely everywhere and anywhere. But it's about changing your mindset. It's about changing your approachability factor, right? And your approach on it all. And it's coming up with a plan. If you're dating after 30, gone are the days of college where you have the infrastructure of your social life, right? So you have to put some intention into it. And I always say your dating portfolio should look like your financial portfolio. You need to diversify as much as possible in order to get some traction and results. And so I teach people how to create a dating plan, much like a business plan, so that they have actual things on their calendar that has a mix of organic interactions when you're out and about in the grocery store. There are men, by the way, there. If you're a man, there are women there, by the way, but you have to start waking up and put on a different pair of glasses so that you actually see them. You have to put some intention. I call it the dating matrix, like the matrix, all of a sudden you put on the goggles, you're in the same environment, but oh my God, there they are. And
we selectively choose evidence that supports our theories and rule out evidence that does not, which is the whole point of this series. And I'm often telling people, people are becoming widowed and divorced every minute of every day. Sorry to be glum, but there are even if you think you're right, that there are no good ones out there right now, you've assessed all billion of them and they're all crap.
Yeah.
The one that just got divorced.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, totally. And I have a really funny, quick story around this that totally worked for this woman. She calls me up. She gives me her credit card to coach her. She still doesn't really believe it because she had that limiting belief. There are no great men. She's been in that city forever. She's up in Canada. And I said, look, I just want you to do one thing before our first call. I want you to take the same route to work. She walked to work. And I want you to just actually take the blinders off. And I want you to look around and just notice who's noticing you. that's all I want you to do for your first assignment. And then we're going to have our first call. She's like, okay. So she goes and we have our first call. And the first thing she says to me, Kim, do you have a voodoo doll? I said, I don't have a voodoo doll. What happened? She said, this gorgeous guy who was sitting on the bench when I was on my way to work saw me. I saw him and we started talking and he asked me out. That guy became her long-term boyfriend. And it was changing her mindset, changing her perspective, her approach, and having a plan.
We don't need any more proof. So I think that goes a long way to, if you cannot believe that a human being is worthy of you, that's a different issue. But if you can believe that a human being is worthy of you, but you just can't see them, the answer is open your eyes, look around, make a plan, get out there, make it quantitative. We agree and believe in that too. Make it a promise. I'm going to flirt with 3 new people.
Yes.
I'm going to go out of the house. Or else it won't happen. And you'll be stuck with amazing excuses, like amazing, really statistically brilliant excuses, but they will not be what's leading you to your dream. I want to end with a little story. Also, I shared this with you last time we recorded this, which is that I have an almost 4-year-old and she sometimes says, I'm shy. And I go, you're not shy, honey. You're scared. That's very different.
True.
Scared is a moment-to-moment phenomena, and it's fine. It's really okay. Of course you're scared. You could be rejected. You get your feelings hurt. You get hurt on the playground. Like, fear is a normal, healthy part of life, really. It's okay to say that you're scared. It's okay to be scared. But please don't call it a personality issue. Please don't blame it on the other sex or whoever you're trying to date. Please don't blame it on society or humanity. And please don't let those excuses stop you from pursuing what you really, really want, despite your fear. Fear doesn't go away, but you can debunk those BS theories.
I love that. And you know, the funny thing about fear is fear prevents us from change, right? And I always say, if something feels uncomfortable and you have that little thing in your stomach, run towards it. Don't run away from it, because that means that's something that can help you change. I mean, no one changes or gets results by staying the same in your comfy, cozy cocoon, right? It's more comfortable, just like my clothes were more comfortable, but that didn't get me anywhere, right? And so if something feels scary, that's good. That is really good. And have Laurie or myself help you through that, because that's exactly what you need to get to the other side.
I literally promise to myself to be afraid every day. So that
I love that.
I can check it off on my little box, because I want to be chasing it rather than it chasing me. I want to make it my bitch, not me be its bitch, right? So
I love it.
It's a dominance, because fear's not going anywhere if you're doing things that are risky and that are brave and that are awesome, like trying to connect with the other humans.
The other humans.
Go for, don't avoid being afraid, but actually go for it. Actually seek it out. Okay, so Kim, I want you to tell people how to contact you and what these fun free giveaways are that we have in the comments below. Explain to folks.
Yes. Well, obviously the easiest way to find me, if you go to my website, seltzerstyle.com, you can see all kinds of ways of getting in contact me, and I have all kinds of services as well. And I wanted to offer a free guide for both men and women, so that it's a great first step. We were talking about your wardrobe. It's a great first step to just start feeling good about yourself, because here's the thing. People love people who love themselves. It's not about the opposite sex, people. This is about you, right? And so when you start feeling good about you, there's nothing like it. Everything else happens, kind of like what you were saying, Laurie. It just comes to you. So these free guides, like the one for women is a free body type guide, and it teaches you how to measure yourself. And so you're going to measure, by the way, this has nothing to do with weight. This actually is your bone structure. You measure your shoulders, your waist, your hips, and it determines what body type you are. There are 5 body types, and I go over what cuts flatter your figure and what cuts to stay away from. So it's super fun. And for men, I have a man's fashion manifesto, because let's face it, men do want to know some of the stuff, but they don't sit around on a Sunday afternoon talking about shopping usually. So I want to make a little guide for you. And I go a little bit deeper into grooming too, because man, you guys got to take care of yourself too. Like, we like that. So just so I know, the nose hairs, clip the nose hairs, just little things. We don't ask for much.
No. No.
Right. So I have a free guide for you too, and that. And then I do have a free webinar. Now, this one's only for women, and I'll probably be doing one for men a little bit later on in the year. And it's called the Love Makeover boot camp kind of thing. And so it's just going to go over some really fun, like 3 core tips on how to attract love.
Amazing, Kim. Thank you so much for making that available for our people and for all your great tips and just from your expert from the field knowledge about why we should not believe our own excuses. Thank you so much. You have made dating look a little more easy, a little more possible, a little more fun. And you even make me want to go shopping.
We could do that. I do virtual sessions, just so you know, y'all. I do virtual makeovers. It's a 1-hour session. We could do that for sure.
Amazing. Amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Okay, thanks, Laurie, for having me.
Bye.